Well, good morning. Yagendra Rana here. Moss survived in space. It may grow on Mars too. So, this is the topic of our discussion today. Moss survived in space. It may grow on Mars too. A pioneer plant proves it can endure long range space travel and regrow on a new world. The experiment surprised even seasoned scientists who saw for the first time that moss, one of the most resilient organisms to have ever existed, can survive even in space for months. So the test began in March 2022 when Japanese researchers attached samples of Psychomytrium patents or spreading earth moss to the exterior of the International Space Station. So there, in the most hostile environment experienced by humans, where even blood can boil, the P patent samples survived for 283 days through radiation, vacuum, wild temperature, fluctuations, and microgravity. So, in January 2023, when the samples were brought back, they were found to be still biologically viable. So, part of the simple bryophyte plant not only survived open space, they retained the ability to grow again, said Sudha Rajamani, a biology professor of Indian Institute of Science and Education and Research, Pune. So in Perth, in Australia, Troy Miller, a researcher from ARC Centre of Excellence in Plants for Space, the University of Western Australia, called it a remarkable experiment. He said this told us that moss could support development of food crops that can survive in space. If we ever want to set up a colony on Mars or conduct manned mission into deep space, these experiments and findings like what we saw with moss are a huge deal. So before sending the samples up to ISS, the Japanese team in a lab on Earth used radiations, heat, extreme cold, and vacuum conditions to street test three structures of P patents: protonomata or jubaline moss, brood cells or stem cells that are turned on under stress conditions, and sporophytes or reproductive capsules that contain spores. So the first two parts took damage, but the spores encapsulated within the sporophytes breathed through, even tolerating 195 Celsius for a week, encouraged the scientists sent the sporophytes to ISS, and 9 months later discovered 80% of the spores had survived. So the data published in November revealed the researchers realized the structure that surrounded the spores could act as a crucial barrier that potentially absorb US radiations. Then all the experiments showed all besides a fuel road, moss may one day be the most important resource aboard a spaceship on its way to Mars to beyond or beyond. Even though it's a really small plant, as Mani said, moss helps to make protozoal and hold water, while also contributing oxygen via respiration, making it a promising candidate for life support systems and space habitats. So the ISS test showed its spores can survive a space odyssey, which means they can be used in closed ecosystems for missions to the outer planets. And upon arrival, studies have shown that moss can help with transforming. In 2024, a Chinese paper theorized humanity could revive Mars' dead soil with the nutrients from moss, paving the way for agriculture. Moss is a pioneer plant, which means it's often the first to move into areas devastated by forest fire, etc. So, if its part survived 196 Celsius for a week, they may well stay comfortable in Martian weather, a minimum of 100%, 150% Celsius and 21% Celsius at its warmest. So Radhamani called for more experiments before we terraform foods. First, let us push limits by testing moss for months or even years. So with higher radiation doses and different shielding materials. Second, let us broaden the biology by exposing other hardy organisms. And third, we can test mini ecosystems and try them on ISS, Moon or Mars missions. The moon test of study candidates is likely to happen next year when NASA launches the Artemis 3 missions. It will involve astronauts cultivating plants in a growth chamber on the lunar surface as part of the lunar effects on agriculture flora. The experiment said Miller, adding that plants for space will be analyzing the plants during the experiments. I'm very excited to see how the experiment goes. Perhaps we should grow a garden of moss too, he said. They tried to kill moss in another test but could not, because before the ISS test, a type of desert moss, that is Synchria carnivores, impressed a team of Chinese scientists in 2024. They subjected the plants to extreme stress, but it refused to die, even surviving. And 99% dehydration. It turned black, but S. carnivores was back to full photosynthetic capacity within 2 minutes of dehydration. Liquid nitrogen. The moss was in 196 Celsius for 30 days, but recovered to grow new branches. And high radiation. As carnivores took 4,000 gray of ionizing radiation. 4 gray can kill humans. The Chinese team found fatal dose for S. carnivores is 5,000 gray, 800 more than what tardigrades can take. So this is planned to turn red planet green in 3 long states. Thank you very much.